Hi, I'm Celine. The box of cereal in my hand had exactly 3 servings left, which meant one more breakfast for my kids before we'd need to visit the food bank again. I stared at my empty fridge, the irony of my situation not lost on me as my phone lit up with yet another glamorous photo from my brother Drew's wedding preparations. Mom went all out on the flower arrangements, my sister-in-law to be Vanessa texted. 20,000 for flowers alone. Your mother is such an angel. I placed my phone face down on the counter as my daughter Lily walked in, her too small uniform shirt exposing her wrists. Mom, is Grandma coming over today? Lily asked, opening the fridge only to close it again with a sigh. No, sweetie. Grandma's busy with Uncle Drew's wedding stuff, I replied, trying to keep the bitterness from my voice. Again? This is like, what, his third wedding? Why does he keep getting married if it never works out? Lily plopped onto a kitchen chair. Some people just get more chances than others, I guess, I said, pouring her the last of the milk. My phone buzzed again. It was my friend Tara. You coming to Drew's cake tasting tomorrow? Your mom's flying in the cake designer from Paris. Paris! Must be nice having Mama's unlimited credit card. I texted back. Can't make it. Work. 3 dots appeared, then. You always work. It's Drew's special day. 3rd time's the charm. The doorbell rang. I opened it to find my neighbor, Mrs. Chen, holding a plastic container. I made too much lasagna, she said, her eyes taking in my apartment's sparse furnishings. Thought your kids might enjoy some. Mrs. Chen, you don't have to. Nonsense, she interrupted, pushing the container into my hands. My Raymond used to work with your mother at the bank. Such a generous woman. Always talking about her investments and properties. She lowered her voice. I was surprised to hear about your situation, with the food assistance and all. I felt my cheeks burn. My mother talks about me at the bank. Oh, all the time. About the trust fund she manages for you and the kids. Says it's growing nicely for your future. Such a good grandmother. My hands trembled. Trust fund? What trust fund? Mrs. Chen's smile faltered. The one your father left when he passed. Your mother handles it all. Said it was worth almost $1 million after the life insurance paid out. She mentioned just last month how she's been carefully investing it for you and the children's college. The container nearly slipped from my grip. Did she happen to mention if I've ever received any of it? Well, no, but she said you preferred her to manage it all. Something about you being irresponsible with money? Oh dear, have I said too much? Behind me, I heard Lily's voice. Mom, what's a trust fund? Mrs. Chen backed toward her apartment. I should go. Please enjoy the lasagna. I closed the door and leaned against it, my mind racing. My father had died 5 years ago. 5 years of food banks and secondhand clothes while my mother claimed to be managing a trust fund for me? Mom? Lily asked again. Is everything okay? I forced a smile. Everything's fine, sweetie. Actually, everything might finally be about to change. $1 million? Tara nearly choked on her coffee. We sat in the back corner of the diner where she worked, her 15-minute break stretching to 30 as I explained what Mrs. Chen had told me. Apparently. And according to Mrs. Chen, Mom's been managing it for 5 years, while I've been stretching every penny and relying on charity to feed my kids. That can't be legal, Tara said, leaning forward. Your dad specifically left it for you, right? I don't know. I never saw the will. Mom handled everything after Dad died. Said there was barely enough to cover the funeral. I twisted my paper napkin into a tight spiral. She told everyone I was too emotional to deal with the paperwork. And you believed her? Why wouldn't I? She's my mother, Tara. Who suspects their own mother of stealing from them? The diner's bell jingled as my cousin Patrick walked in, spotting us immediately. He slid into the booth beside Tara, his lawyer's briefcase landing on the table with a thud. Got your text. What's this emergency about Aunt Helen? He asked, straightening his tie. I took a deep breath. Did you know my dad left me a trust fund? Patrick's expression shifted subtly. Who told you that? So you did know. Why didn't you say anything? He adjusted his glasses, not meeting my eyes. It's complicated, Celine. Aunt Helen is the executor. Legally, she has certain discretionary powers. Discretionary powers to let me and my kids nearly become homeless while she throws money at Drew's revolving door marriages? My voice rose enough that nearby diners turned to look. Keep it down, Patrick hissed. Look, I'm not supposed to discuss this, but yes, Uncle Richard left provisions for both you and Drew. Helen was supposed to distribute funds for necessary expenses, housing, education, medical care. And Drew's multiple weddings count as necessary expenses? Tara interjected. Patrick sighed. Drew knows how to work your mom. Always has. So what can I do? I asked. Technically, you could petition the court for an accounting of the trust, force her to show where the money's gone. He drummed his fingers on his briefcase. But it would mean suing your own mother, Celine. Would I win? If what Mrs. Chen said is accurate, and your mom's been misappropriating funds? Yes, you'd likely win. The diner door opened again, and my stomach dropped as my brother Drew sauntered in, his arm around Vanessa. They spotted us and headed over, Drew's expensive cologne arriving before he did. Well, look at the family reunion, Drew grinned, sliding into the booth beside me. Planning my surprise bachelor party? Not everything is about you, Drew, I muttered. Ouch, someone's grumpy today. Money troubles again? He nudged me with his elbow. You know, if you'd just ask Mom nicely instead of always being so proud. Ask Mom? I turned to face him. Like you do? For wedding after wedding? Drew's smile faltered. That's different. Mom wants me to be happy. And she doesn't want the same for me and my kids? Vanessa leaned forward, her diamond engagement ring catching the light. Your mom mentioned you're always asking for handouts, Celine. Maybe if you managed your money better. Handouts? I've been surviving on food donations while apparently sitting on a trust fund I didn't know existed. Drew's face paled. What trust fund? The one Dad left. The one Mom's been managing all these years while funding your lifestyle? That's ridiculous. Mom would never... Never what, Drew? Never lie? Never play favorites? Look at your watch. Look at Vanessa's ring. Where do you think that money comes from? Drew stood abruptly. I don't have to listen to this. You've always been jealous of me. Now you're making up stories because you can't handle that Mom just loves me more. As he stormed out, Vanessa trailing behind, Patrick slid his business card across the table. If you want to pursue this, he said quietly, I know a good trust attorney. The retirement community's visitor lounge was decorated with artificial flowers and outdated magazines. Mom sat across from me, her jewelry catching the fluorescent light as she stirred her tea. It's so nice of you to visit, Celine. You hardly ever come by anymore. She smiled, the picture of innocent motherhood. How are the children? Hungry, mostly, I replied, watching her face carefully. Lily's outgrown her school clothes again. Well, children do that. Perhaps if you'd taken that management position I told you about. The one that would have required me to work 80 hours a week with no childcare? That position? Mom sighed dramatically. Always excuses. Your brother never makes excuses. No, Drew just gets married. Speaking of which, $20,000 for flowers? That's quite generous of you. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Who told you that? It's not polite to discuss money, Celine. No? Then let's discuss trust funds instead. The teacup rattled slightly as she set it down. I don't know what you're talking about. Dad's will. The trust fund he left for me and my children. The one you've been managing for 5 years. Who's been filling your head with nonsense? Her voice hardened. Your father left barely enough to cover his debts. That's not what Mrs. Chen from the bank says, or what Patrick knows about the legal arrangements. Mom's face transformed, her practiced smile vanishing. You've been talking to Patrick? About family matters? About legal matters. About fraud, actually. How dare you? She leaned forward, voice dropping to a hiss. After everything I've done for you. What exactly have you done for me, Mom? Because from where I'm sitting, you've watched me struggle for years while sitting on money that legally belongs to me and my children. The money is for your future. You'd have wasted it by now, just like you waste everything. Look at your life, Celine. A dead-end job, no husband, living in that awful apartment. And whose fault is that? Do you know what I could have done with even a fraction of what you've spent on Drew's weddings? I could have gotten training, found better work, moved to a safer neighborhood for my kids. Other residents were staring now. Mom plastered on her social smile, speaking through clenched teeth. Lower your voice, you're making a scene. I'm making a scene? What do you call stealing from your own daughter? I never stole a penny. I protected that money from your poor decisions. Like feeding my children? Like buying them clothes that fit? Those kinds of poor decisions? Mom stood, smoothing her expensive slacks. I see this conversation as pointless. You've always been dramatic, Celine. I'm not leaving without answers. I want to see the trust documents. I want an accounting of every penny. Or what? She sneered. You'll sue your own mother? Drag our family through the mud? Think about what that would do to Drew's wedding. Drew's third wedding is the least of my concerns right now. You always were jealous of your brother's happiness. Happiness bought with my children's security? She grabbed her purse, voice rising. I won't stand here and be accused by my ungrateful daughter. Ungrateful? For what? For watching my kids go hungry while you play favorites? Security? Mom shouted suddenly, gesturing toward a staff member. This woman is harassing me! I want her removed immediately! The security guard approached. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Fine, I said, standing my ground. But this isn't over, Mom. Not by a long shot. As the guard escorted me out, Mom called after me. You'll regret this, Celine. Family doesn't sue family. I turned back one last time. No, Mom. Family doesn't steal from family either. All rise, the bailiff called as the judge entered the courtroom. 6 months had passed since my confrontation with Mom. 6 months of legal battles, discovered documents, and painful revelations. Mom sat at the defendant's table, her lawyer whispering urgently in her ear. Drew sat directly behind her, refusing to meet my eyes. Judge Watkins reviewed the papers before her. This is case number 2025 CV 4872, Celine Morris versus Helen Morris, regarding misappropriation of trust funds. She looked up. Counsel's approach. As the attorneys conferred with the judge, Tara squeezed my hand. You okay? Better than okay, I whispered back. For the first time in years, I feel like I'm standing up for myself and my kids. The attorneys returned to their tables, and my lawyer, Miss Reeves, stood. Your Honor, we have reached a settlement agreement. A murmur ran through the courtroom as the judge reviewed the document. Very well, Judge Watkins said finally. For the record, the defendant has agreed to surrender control of the Richard Morris Family Trust to an independent trustee to repay $487,000 of misappropriated funds and to submit to a complete forensic accounting of all trust transactions from the past 5 years. The judge looked directly at my mother. Mrs. Morris, do you understand the terms of this agreement? Mom nodded stiffly, not looking at me. And do you agree that you violated your fiduciary duty as trustee by diverting funds intended for your daughter and her children to other purposes, including funding your son's multiple wedding celebrations? My lawyer advised me to accept the settlement, Mom replied coldly. That's all I have to say. Judge Watkins frowned. The court accepts the settlement. Mrs. Morris, you have 30 days to transfer all assets as specified. Case adjourned. The gavel banged, and suddenly it was over. Years of struggle, months of legal battles, concluded in minutes. Outside the courthouse, Drew approached me, his expression stormy. Happy now? You've humiliated Mom, torn apart our family, all for money. This was never about money, Drew. It was about the truth, about Mom playing favorites with Dad's legacy. She was trying to protect you. From what? Financial security? The ability to provide for my children? You don't understand. No, you don't understand what it's like to watch your kids go hungry while your mother funds lavish weddings for your brother. 3 times. Vanessa appeared at Drew's side. We've postponed the wedding thanks to you. Your selfishness has ruined everything. I laughed, the sound surprising even me. My selfishness? That's rich. coming from the couple who were going to have imported flowers while my kids got donations from the food bank. "Celine," a soft voice called. I turned to see Patrick approaching with Miss Reeves. "The paperwork's being processed," he said. "By next week, you'll have access to your portion of the trust. The back payments should clear within 30 days. "Thank you," I said, meaning it. "Both of you." Mom emerged from the courthouse, her face a mask of indignation as she spotted me. "I hope you're satisfied," she said, her voice brittle. "You've destroyed this family over money." "No, Mom. You destroyed it by choosing favorites, by watching your grandchildren suffer while throwing thousands at Drew's weddings." "I was going to pay it all back," she insisted. "Once the investments matured." "Save it for someone who still believes your lies." I cut her off. "We're done." "You don't mean that. I'm still your mother. A mother who would let her grandchildren go hungry? Who would watch her daughter struggle while funding extravagance for her son? That's not a mother I need in my life." "You'll regret this," she warned. "When you need me, I've needed you for years, Mom. You chose not to see it." As she walked away, Tara approached with Lily and my son Max. They'd been waiting in a nearby cafe during the proceedings. "Is it over?" Lily asked, her eyes wide. I nodded, pulling them both into a hug. "It's over, and things are going to be different now." "Are we moving? Can I get new shoes for school?" Max asked hopefully. "Yes to both," I laughed, feeling lighter than I had in years. "And more?" "What about Grandma?" Lily asked quietly. "Is she still our grandma?" I met Tara's eyes over the children's heads, seeing understanding in her gaze. "Grandma made some bad choices," I said carefully. "She hurt our family by not sharing what Grandpa left for us. Right now, we need some time away from her." "Will she ever say sorry?" Max asked. I thought about Mom's cold eyes in the courtroom, her refusal to acknowledge what she'd done. "I don't think so, buddy. But that's her loss, not ours." As we walked to the car, Patrick fell into step beside me. "What will you do now?" I looked at my children, then back at the courthouse where years of injustice had finally been addressed. "Live," I said simply, "on our own terms, with what's rightfully ours." Have you ever had a family member betray your trust? How did you handle it? Did you confront them or walk away? Share your story in the comments below.